Hello, and welcome to another episode of Your Aligned as Fuck Life with Shalvika. And today, what I want to talk to you about is your self worth isn't a mindset problem. And before we dive in, I just want to say that in the previous episodes, I talked a little bit about the lies that we inherited. Um, it may be because of our conditioning, it may be because of our socializing, it may be because of your gender, right? And we did inherit a lot of lies. And I am doing a series of videos and podcast episodes on self worth right now because I am launching my Worthy as Fuck experience. And it starts on 2nd of May. We start in the first week of May, and it's going to be a beautiful experience, beautiful combination of live coaching calls as well as pre-recorded videos. And we are going to unearth your relationship with your worthiness. We are going to change your relationship with your worthiness. And a lot of times when I talk about self-worth, there is this idea of, oh, but I can just read more a little about it and do it. I can just journal about it and do it. I can think better thoughts and do it. And you can, right? Like, I'm someone who is a massive proponent of thought work. It's something that I use very regularly in my work, and it's a very effective tool. However, today I want to share a different perspective on this. Today I want to share about why self-worth is probably your relationship with your self-worth is probably not a mindset problem. Okay, just taking a sip of my coffee. I have my notes here, but I just want to kind of start off with this idea that your beliefs don't live in your mind. And I know that just sounds like really weird, like, what the fuck, Shavika, right? Like, what do you mean my beliefs don't live in my mind? But just hear me out. Your beliefs are actually programmed in your body. Your beliefs are actually live in your body. They live in the way your palms start sweating anytime you want to have a tough conversation with your boss or with your partner or with your child. They live in the way you round your shoulders every time you walk into a room where you want to really impress people. They live in that pit in your stomach that happens just before you're about to walk onto a stage and or give a presentation in front of your entire team, right? If you actually, like, right now, close your eyes and think about all of those things that scare the shit out of you, that you have to do, like, you have to, like, go and ask for the raise, you have to go and have that tough conversation with your partner. All of that, again, at a mind level, right? All of that. But then every time you reach such points, your body actually has a visceral reaction to it. Your body, your palms will start sweating. You'll get that pit in your stomach. Your heartbeat will start increasing. Sometimes you'll start feeling faint. Maybe you will black out. All of these things are actually a reaction by your body. So this is what I mean when I say that your beliefs don't live in your mind. Your beliefs actually live in your body. And it's a very evolutionary. If you've been around in my world, you know that I'm someone who always loves to give you the reasons of why things happen, right? And this is a very evolutionary instinct. What I mean by that is, when we were hunter-gatherers, for example, when we lived in jungles and when we lived on tops of the trees, it was essential for our bodies to store that information because, imagine a predator like a tiger or a panther is about to chase you. You did not have the time that is essential, that is needed for you to think it through. That's why your body needed to take over. Your body needed to take control of what is happening. And that's the same thing that's happening today. Even though we all live in safe environments, even though we live in places where we can't have a rattlesnake that'll come out of the bushes randomly and bite us, that there's going to be no predators that's going to run behind us. but we still have that as a part of our brain, as a part of our reptilian brain, that is responsible for fight or flight. And that is why a lot of our beliefs are stored at a body level and not at our mind level. Which is why a lot of times, I don't know if you've ever experienced an anger bout. Like, I'm someone who's dealt with a lot of anger issues in the past, and sometimes when you get angry, right, it just feels like it's an out of body experience, because I'm not thinking things through. My body just takes over for me, right? And that is when our belief becomes a physiological state, right? And it starts living in our nervous system. So no amount of thought work, no amount of journaling, no amount of reading self-help books, no amount of reading to podcasts such as this is listening to podcasts such as this is going to get you out of that funk, because it is a programmed physiological state. So today what I want to do is, today I want to talk to you about 3 tools that I use and that we are going to be using inside the Worthy as Fuck experience. And I'm going to talk about why these tools actually are effective in rewiring our nervous system, in actually taking that belief out of our body and changing the charge on it, right? Because our beliefs are our body's automatic response, and they work faster than thoughts, which is why anytime you go out to set a boundary, your body is going to stop you, your mind is going to stop you. Anytime you go to ask for a raise, you are going to go down this thought spiral, or maybe you're just going to start procrastinating. You're going to be like, oh, I need to go and talk to my manager about this. Oh, but wait, I have to send this email first. Oh, wait, but I have to order my meal, whatever, right? Like that's what is happening right now. Anytime this idea of self-worth actually comes in, because you do know at a thought level, cerebrally, you do know that you are enough. So if cerebrally you do know that you're enough, then why does it not translate in your life, right? So that's why I want to talk to you about the 3 tools that I use very, very heavily in my work. The first tool that I want to talk about is EFT, which is Emotional Freedom Techniques. Now, if you are new here and if you've never heard, Emotional Freedom Techniques is essentially tapping on various parts of your body, right? The first time that I heard about this, I thought this must be utter and complete bullshit, right? Like, what? Like, you just tap on parts of your body and you're telling me that my thought process is going to change? But I'm going to tell you today how and why that happens, okay? When you're using specific acupressure points that are on your meridian system, right? It's called the meridian system. I don't want to get into too much technicalities, but when you are tapping at specific points on your body, while you are saying or while you're focusing on a specific negative belief, for example, I am not enough, I am not worth making X amount of money, I will feel like I belong only after I lose a certain amount of weight, whatever that looks like for you. When you are tapping while thinking about this, what that does, it sends a calming signal to your nervous system. We tap only at specific points that are connected to your nervous system, and it sends a calming signal to your amygdala. Now, your amygdala is a part of your brain. If you know about it, if you don't know about it, I'm going to talk about it. It's the part of your brain that is responsible for your fear response. It is responsible for detecting a threat response. It is the part of your brain that's responsible for your fight or flight response, right? What I was talking to you earlier. Like, even though we live in safe spaces, we still feel like there is a constant threat. That's why we get so anxious and stressed, and we don't do what we say we want to do, right? So when you tap on those specific points, it changes your relationship with that thought. So imagine with repetition, what happens is this thought that I am not enough, I'm not worthy, I can't do this because whatever, insert whatever your reason is. Over a period of time, with repetition, the charge on that thought starts reducing. And that's how we reprogram our nervous system, right? So the first tool that I love using, that we are going to be using a lot inside the Worthy as Fuck experience, is EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques. The second tool that we are going to use is breath work, right? Now, breath is that bodily function that is at the intersection of your voluntary and your involuntary system. What do I mean by that? You cannot voluntarily control the rate of your heartbeat. You cannot voluntarily control the cortisol spike that your body experiences when it's under stress. But what you can do is you can modulate the way you breathe, your breathing patterns, and that in turn can change your heart rate. That in turn can even change your heart rate variability. If you want to read up about HRV, please go ahead and read up about it. That in turn can change your stress response, your cortisol response. So when we talk about breath work, what we are essentially doing is we are again training our nervous system to respond in a certain way, specifically when your exhale is much longer than your inhale. If you've been in my world, I've talked about this, but I'm going to talk about it again. My favorite breathing pattern that I like to tell people to start incorporating in their lives, if you experience anxiety, if you experience stress, if you experience worthiness issues, whatever issues, right, whatever mindset drama you experience, I implore you to start using this technique, which is 4-7-8. Essentially what you do is you inhale for 4 counts, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you hold for 7 counts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you exhale for 8 counts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Even 30 seconds of practicing the 4-7-8 breathing technique, I can guarantee you that you will feel much calmer. And it does not, if you think about tapping, if you're about to go on stage and talk to, like, I don't know, 200 people, or if you're about to walk into a meeting with your boss to ask for a raise, if you're about to have a tough conversation with your partner, I know you can't sit there and tap your way out of it, right? But you can definitely use 30 seconds and try this breathing technique, right? So that's the second tool that we are going to use, which is breath work. And the third tool that we are going to use is, which, like, I call myself the identity alchemist, but that is identity work. Now, what do I mean by identity, right? A lot of times we treat beliefs as thoughts that reside in mind, right? That's what I started this podcast episode with. However, for a lot of us, our belief has become an identity, right? So for example, if you're someone who has anxiety issues, I've worked with clients who never tell me that I have an anxiety problem or I experience anxiety. They say, I am an anxious person. I am this. I am bipolar. I am ADHD. I am this. I am that. I am someone who does not keep the promises that she makes to herself. I am not enough because blah, 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 blah. Do you realize that instead of saying that I'm someone who's experiencing this, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. We say that I am this. So it becomes a part of my identity, and then our identity is the one that drives every single thing that we do. If you've read Atomic Habits, sorry, it took me a while to get the name, Atomic Habits by James Clear, he talks about this. He talks about, I think he gives a health example where he talks about how instead of saying I'm going to have a salad every day for lunch, right? That's something that you are separating from yourself. You should start practicing saying that I am a healthy person. And then when you are choosing what to order for lunch, you ask yourself, okay, I am a healthy person. So then what would a healthy person do? Similarly, worthiness. I am worthy just as I am. How would I act? How would I treat my body? How would I treat my needs? How would I treat my dreams and my vision that I have for myself? Right? And identity work is at the core of the work that we are going to be doing in this 1 month of the Worthy as Fuck experience. Because once you start shifting identities, your entire being changes. Your beliefs, your thoughts, your actions, your results, everything is driven by your identity. And that is going to be at the core of the work that we are going to be doing in these 4 weeks. So let me give you a little bit of details. This is going to be the Worthy as Fuck experience. It's going to be a 4-week experience. You're going to have 4 live coaching calls. So I'm going to get on a call with you every single week, and I'm going to coach you through all of the modules that we have. You are going to walk away with 12 videos. That's going to include breathwork, that's going to include EFT tapping, that's going to include a lot of identity work, shit ton of identity work, because again, your worthiness is rooted in your identity. Like we talked about in the last episode, it's rooted because it's conditioned. It's an automatic response of your body. So what we are going to do is, instead of thinking our way through 30, 40, a lifetime worth of belief systems, we are going to reroute those identities into the identity of a of a worthy person. I'm still thinking about, anyway, worthy person, right? So that is what we are going to be doing. And if you want to experience, before even joining the Worthy as Fuck experience, before we go into the 1 month experience, if you want to start doing the preliminary work, I'm right now running a free 7-day self-worth glow up challenge that's happening inside a WhatsApp group. I'm going to put all of the links in the show notes, but I want you to join this because I feel like you deserve to feel worthy without any conditions attached to it, right? Without all the bullshit of I'll feel worthy when I lose 5 kilos. I'll go ahead and start my business after my kids are done with ABCDE. I will do this when my partner says. The thing is, readiness is not a state to be achieved. Readiness is a decision, and you can do that. You can make that decision right now from the space of being completely worthy. Before I part ways, before I wrap up today's episode with you, I want to share a personal example. I started my business 6 years ago, exactly 6 years ago. In April 2020 is when I started my business, right in the middle of the entire COVID-19 shit show. But that's a story for another time. But when I started, there was a lot of narrative in my head that said that, oh, I'm a beginner, I'm a new coach, I'm a beginner, I'm a new coach, which was true. Back then, it was true, right? 3 years into my business, and I still believed that, oh, but I'm new to this thing. I needed a coach to actually walk me through this idea that, no, I don't. I've already worked with hundreds of people. I do not need more experience to look at myself as a qualified coach. Today, I am who I am, and I charge what I charge, and I make the money that I make, not because I just decided one day, because it's because I worked on that worthiness, on that piece of worthiness where I'm like, I am worthy as a coach, as an entrepreneur, as a facilitator, just as I am, because what I know is enough. I don't need anything more in order to teach people to live their best lives, to build their aligned as fuck lives, right? And that has led me to the 2 most successful years I've had in business, right? That has led me to signing some of the biggest clients that I've ever signed. That has led me to a massive corporate contract that just came out of nowhere. Honestly, it came from thin air. But it didn't come from thin air. It came from all this work that I was doing on my own sense of self-worth, on my own seat of power, right? That place inside of me that tells me that, you know what, I'm enough. What I have is enough. And it is daunting. Like, just to give you an example, when I started coaching the corporate clients, right, these were people who were country managers of this massive pharmaceutical industry. And I was like, oh my God, these people have like 20 years experience in their fields. These guys are making like an insane amount of money, handling entire regions, entire countries all over the world. Like, who the fuck am I to coach them? And then there was this tiny voice that said, who the fuck am I not? Because I know my shit. I know how to help people transform their identities. That's who I am. I'm not going into their businesses and telling them how to run their business. I am helping them transform their identities. That is what I want you to experience. This assuredness in who you are, in the power that you hold, so that you can go and actually do all of those things that you have always said that you want to do. You want to go start that business. I want to help you start that business. You want to walk out of a toxic relationship. I want to help you walk out of that toxic relationship. You want to feel at peace with yourself, even before you lose the weight, even before you make the money, even before whatever, insert whatever reason it is that you're giving to yourself, I want that for you. And that is why I have created this. And I really, really want to invite you in. This is 9999 for the entire 4 weeks. With me, you're going to have me in your back pocket, and there's going to be a bunch of women that are going to be on the same journey, so you can share, you find your tribe, you find your girl tribe within this community. That's the vision that I have for this. So here is me inviting you inside the Worthy as Fuck experience. But before you get in, do join the 7-day self-worth glow up challenge, because I want you to get a taste of what it would feel like to actually own your own worthiness completely, truly, and amazingly well. Right? So that is all that I had for you today, and I will see you soon in the next episode. All right, ciao.